ironically, in light of your introduction, is growing at about 8 or 9 or 10%. But I think commentators, if I can be so bold as yourself, tend to paint everything with the same brush, and really you've got to look at two industries. I mean, you group together the advertising industry as one, and really there are two things going on. One is a traditional media industry which is going south, and the other is a digital media industry which is going north. Overall, you put the two together, they're growing at about probably 8 or 9% in 25, and probably a very similar rate in 26. So it's not as gloomy as you paint, but you've got to divide it into two pieces. There's 300, the overall industry last year was about $1 trillion. This year will have been about 1.1 trillion, and next year probably about 1.2. So easy maths to think about. But if you take the $1 trillion, there's 300 billion that's going south, the traditional industry, the Warner Brothers Discovery that Paramount and Netflix are scrapping over at the minute. And what's going on there is it indicates that that industry is under huge pressure. If you don't have live sport, you're declining in terms of ad revenues in that 300 billion by about 10 or 15%. If you do have live sport, maybe by 0 to 5%. And the digital piece, which is the other 700 billion, dominated by Google at 250 billion, by Meta at 150, by Amazon at 60, and by TikTok outside China probably about 40 billion. So those four platforms, 3 Western plus 1 from the East operating in the West, account for 500 billion out of the trillion, and 500 billion out of the 700 billion that is in digital and is growing at 10, 15 or 20% depending on which platform you're talking about. So I think you have to be a little bit more nuanced about how you look at the industry. There's a part that's declining and there's a part that's growing.